Up next, we have Elevate Your Success, Dressing with Purpose, presented by South Coast Plaza. Please welcome to the stage Jacey Duprie, Candice Lambert, Chriselle Lim, Dana Asher-Levine, and Nicole Pollard Bayme.
Wow, hi guys, good afternoon. I'm really excited. Really happy you guys can join us today for the Dressing with Purpose panel, and thank you so much to South Coast Plaza for having us. This is actually my first time ever mediating a panel. I'm really excited about it. I moved to LA to become a TV host, and now you're gonna find out why I failed at that job. Why don't we start out with everyone introducing themselves?
Hi, I'm Candice Lambert. I'm a fashion stylist. I mostly dress celebrity and musicians. I started my career about 17 years ago. I was in the Coast Guard first, and I got a degree in Homeland Security and wanted to make a huge pivot in life in fashion, and I went for it. So I believe we can all do multi-facets and jobs.
Hi everyone, I'm Chriselle Lim. Some of you may know me as one of the OG bloggers. I don't know if that's a compliment anymore because you're like, oh, I'm just old now, right? But that's how I started my career in creating content online and pivoted really quickly to different businesses. And now I have founded a company called Phlur, which is a modern fine fragrance business.
Hi, I'm Dana Asher-Levine. I'm a personal shopper stylist. I started my career at 38. I had a change in life and had to go back to work with 3 young children, and the only thing I was good at was shopping. So I'm 60 now, and I've made a wonderful life out of it.
Hi, I'm Nicole Pollard Bayme. I'm the founder of Lalaluxe, and I'm a fashion stylist. It's a fashion styling company here in Los Angeles. And we have a worldwide clientele. It's a personal styling business. And I help my clients align who they are on the inside with how they want to show up in the world.
So this panel is all about dressing with purpose and how what we wear can really influence our ability to succeed in life and how we feel. Over the last decade, I've watched Chriselle bounce around from the Dior Paris Fashion Week show to Tokyo to New York. She always looks stunning, head to toe. I would personally love to know how and where you source your looks and what factors you take into consideration. What does your process look like when you're getting dressed?
I think it's really evolved. I think when I first started in fashion, I just wanted to wear all the latest trends. I would, because I did get invited to the shows by the brand, so they would say, oh, this is the look, wear this look. And because I didn't know that I could have a voice, I was just like, okay, I'll wear it head to toe. And now, looking back 10 years later, 15 years later, I'm like, wow, that really did not suit me. That was not my personal style. And I think it takes a bit of getting to know yourself, but also having the confidence to be like, no, that's not really my thing. And so I think it took some time, I think probably 10 years in the making, to be like, okay, this is who I am. For me personally, I like very minimal, kind of strong looks. But then for the first, I think, 8 years of my life, I thought I was super feminine and girly, which I look back and I'm like, oh, that had nothing to do with my personality. So I think it's just as you mature and as you get older, you get to know yourself. And that's how it all started for me. And now when brands are like, you should wear this, and I'm like, no, it's not for me. So I'm never afraid of saying no now.
And
Yeah.
it sounds like when you started to do that, your career really started to take off. I feel as though when you honed in on that essence of personal style.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I mean, we all can agree that fashion, putting on a good look, it's not like curing cancer or anything, but there is a power to it, right? So it's once you really understand what feels good to you and what is actually you, then all of a sudden you show up in the world differently. You literally can walk into a boardroom or a meeting and just own the shit out of it, right? And you're like, oh, this is me, I have arrived. And it simply came from knowing yourself enough to feel good in a simple outfit.
Yeah.
So that's the power for me, at least about fashion.
It's a really good example, and this question's for Candice, because as Chriselle was explaining, the way you dress can really transform a person's career from becoming an influencer to a global icon and mogul. You've worked behind the scenes to help transform your clients and the way that they present themselves to the world. Do you have an example of a time when your client's career trajectory was kind of thrown, catapulted them into the next level of their career because of an outfit?
Well, yeah, I don't know if you guys know who Pentatonics is, and if you don't, that's okay, but if you do, fabulous because they're fabulous. I've been styling them for over 10 years, and it's one of the moments I'll never forget because RCA called me and they were like, we have this band that we have no idea what to do with, and we want you to meet them, and we trust that you can figure it out. And I'm like, a cappella group, like, what is that? Like, I really didn't know, so I Googled them, and it was all like hot pink ties and black shirts, matchy, 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 collared sweatshirts. I'm like, that is not me at all. So I went and I met them, and I sat with each one of them, and like you were saying, personality comes into play, and I, figured out their personalities and what they want to express, what they want to say, and I kind of created individual looks, but also made them form as a group and made them cohesive together, but not losing who they are as a unit in themselves. And I mean, they just flew off the shelf. They've won 3 Grammys. They are nominated this year. They've been nominated for 5. They have Christmas specials across, all kinds of networks. We just did a movie. They're touring. They've sold millions of records. And I don't think, honestly, if we wouldn't have gone that direction, if it would have been, kind of kitschy, I think it would have been cute for a moment. Mm-hmm. But people look at them like real people and real artists, and there's the confidence there.
I can't help but think about a holiday card right now in my head. Like the family that obviously put some time and effort into their outfits and they look cohesive together, and then the ones that don't.
Exactly.
I.e. my family right now. Just kidding. Dana, you've gotten a glimpse behind the curtain as well as working as a stylist. What is your motivation for a particular type of styling? For example, how do you shift your choices based off of who you're styling?
Well, I work for a lot of different size women and men, so I really have to go with what's out in the stores. I don't get to just pull off the runway. So my job is more how they're feeling, what's going to make them feel more confident, and how I'm going to get that to them in the time I need to get that. And I saw your clients on the morning show this morning. They looked great.
Thank you.
That's nice. Nicole, we're talking about the choices behind why and how what we put on kind of influences when we dress with purpose and intention, and how it can really define our own personal brand and open up bigger opportunities, which is what you've done and kind of starting a business off of styling with Lalaluxe. Am I right with that? So what do you think are the pillars to developing your own personal brand in your wardrobe? What do you need to have, whether it's materialistic or to not consistently dressing with purpose to define that personal brand?
Well, let me just say I started 18 years ago, and I was the secretary at a preschool, and I had no business going into fashion. And from behind the desk at the preschool, I created a business that I thought would be a shopping tour business, and it turned, my first client that came to me happened to be a Saudi princess, and this was just luck. But the first thing I did, and this is what I practice with all of my clients, is I came to her and dressed as the version of me that I wanted to be hired for the job and the version of me that I wanted to start the company. So I really sat with myself and I thought, how do I want to show up in the world? And so that's my first pillar. The first thing I do with any executive or whether it's a royal family, head of state, or soccer mom is who are you today? Not the person you were when you got married 15 years ago, but who am I actually today? What clothes fit me today? What's my identity and my essence? We're all vessels holding this essence, and it's really figuring out who that is. And from there, the style's actually pretty easy. We start out with a closet edit, and we figure out what works in people's closets and what doesn't, and get rid of anything that's not who you are right now. And then we go into the shopping. That's where we shop till we drop at South Coast Plaza, but it's with a purpose, because I've gone and I've figured out what's missing from the wardrobe. And I don't just go shop the sale rack or shop to find whatever floats my boat that day. It's really what's missing from my wardrobe and how can I pull it in and pull a look together that shows who I am from the inside out.
So would you look at pieces that your clients are already wearing? I always go for the same sweatshirt, and why, and how does that fit in with a person's personal brand? What would be some easy, quick tips people can go back to their closets and be these are all the pieces that I wear on a regular basis. This is what the void is. Like, how do you kind of just get like a quick little start, like a jump start on that process?
Okay, so there isn't just like a one answer because we're all like snowflakes, all of us. Everybody's so different. But I think the one most important thing for your closet is knowing who you really are. Because once you're settled with that, it's really easy to dress. For me, like my husband calls this my Mrs. Roper look. But like, I'm so good in feathers and color and oversized patterns, and I feel joy and I feel confidence. So that might be for you, like Chriselle was saying, something tailored and, like your oversized blazer, like that might be what it is for you. I can't tell you that, but I can sit with you and help you discover that.
Speaking of Chriselle, you've always been someone I've looked at that seems as though you know who you are and the message you want to send out to the world, and I really feel as though that took your personal brand and launched it into a business. But I'm sure once upon a time you might have had a fashion flop. Would you be open to sharing it?
Yeah, I mean, I look at a lot of I think when I first started in fashion, and I think we could all relate, whether you're in the business of fashion or Hollywood, and you're just like trying to make a statement, trying to make a name for yourself, right? And you're in this business and you know what you can offer the world, but you want to stand out. And for me, when I started in fashion, I was a college student and I had a lot of imposter syndrome of like, I don't deserve to be here, so let me overdo it. Let me like mask up my low self-confidence with this crazy outfit that doesn't represent me, just so people can't tell that I'm not confident in my skin. Mm-hmm. And I think that's how I was kind of driving the boat really for the past, I think, 8 to 10 years until, and I think we all kind of go through like breakdowns or crises or like a moment where you're like, okay, who am I really? And taking that time to really getting to know yourself. And, it took years to figure that out for me. And I think, and every phase, I'm not downplaying any phase. I think every phase has a purpose and it served this moment. But for me, I finally feel like I have arrived to my true self of like, okay, I really know who I am now. And I'm 38. It took me about 35 years to figure that out, mm-hmm. right? And so I think it's a matter of being patient and open and allowing yourself and talking about joy. Like you want to feel joy in your outfit. For me, like the strongest emotion for me is to feel confident and powerful, right? Some people might be, I don't know, feeling feminine and beautiful or sexy, whatever that is. I think really figuring out what adjective makes you feel good. And for me, it's like, I want to feel powerful and confident. And through that, I was able to discover what makes me feel that way in which outfit. So, I don't know, hopefully that helps.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's the goal of all of the stylists with how they want their clients to feel. Dana, what got you interested in styling when you first started?
Well, I grew up in a very wonderful house. My youngest of 3 girls, and my mom was a wonderful entertainer. And we just always loved clothes. My sister's a famous party planner, Mindy Weiss, so she plans beautiful parties. My sister owned a store, Mindy did the parties, and I did the dressing. And we just grew up this way. Our parents died a long time ago, so my sisters and I try to keep this legacy going of wonderful, fabulous mm-hmm. things. But I really started because I had a life change and I had to go back to work. So I had 3 young children. And I met this woman in Mommy and Me. She's like, oh my God, you always look so great. Can I pay you to shop for me? And I was like, is that a job? And then I called my sister Mindy. She's like, oh my God, that's a job. That's your job now. And like 25 years later, I dress mostly executives like Shonda Rhimes, a lot of Amazon executives. I pretty much, in the olden days, everybody wanted to be a celebrity stylist. I needed to get paid. So that was not my avenue. I really worked really hard. I'm really proud of all my clients. We've grown up together, and I love what I do, and I'm grateful for South Coast Plaza. They're very supportive to all of our jobs. They make it very easy, and I just love, my women are very powerful, like, they're crazy powerful, so I just have to, sometimes I forget that I'm like, they're like, I didn't go to the Harvard Law School of Shopping, I'm just like this girl, so, we're doing all these wonderful things. I'm like, they're like, well, what do you think? I'm like, okay, you just go with, like, you kind of fake it till you make it, but you're really not faking it, you're really trying to make it.
Yeah. I love that you're like giving a shout out to South Coast Plaza for making it easy, because I've worked with them before and they definitely do make it very easy. You guys, being a stylist is not easy at all. I don't know how you guys do it. I wanted to ask Candice, how do you typically source looks, and what is your philosophy behind styling, and how do you keep everything organized? Because you're probably working with so many different clients. Like, do you have boards? Do you have Pinterest boards? Like, how do you kind of organize it all, and where do you source?
Well, I make a lot of mood boards, usually, and I send it into the client, which they approve. I also, it depends, like, I already use Pentatonic, so let's go there. There's 5 people, different sizes, different shapes, different identities, so I have to source a lot. And I have a lot of relationships with designers. I design and custom looks for people, myself. And then I go to them all just like everybody else. I go online. I try to find it anywhere it exists. And if it doesn't exist, I'm gonna make it. But it gets tricky because we're all different sizes, and unfortunately in the fashion industry, there aren't many sizes for every single person.
What do you do if like one of them loves the nude look and the other one hates that? It's like, do you use the majority rules when you're styling the group?
I think, people are pretty respectful because fashion's emotional. Like, my job's intimate. It's very intimate between people. Like, I'm sitting with you, I'm talking to you, I'm gonna reach into parts of you that's uncomfortable, that you're insecure about, that you don't want to show, right? So you have to trust me, and I'm never gonna guide you to that point where 4 people are like, why would you wear that? It's not gonna happen. So we all have to trust each other. And I think the band understands that it's emotional, especially celebrities. It's scary to walk out there. So I think they're not gonna, if you feel beautiful and you look great, why would they say something? It's not really about what other people think. It's about how you feel.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Nicole, I would love to hear a little bit more about Lalaluxe, and this is the new brand that you launched, your styling services company, correct? Will you just tell us more about what you do?
Sure. Well, it's a new brand started 18 years ago.
18 years.
Yes. Started here in Los Angeles. I have a worldwide clientele, Forbes top 10 list, international royalty, CEOs from Silicon Valley companies, and really thought and philanthropic and trade leaders around the world. Like I said, I sit with them and I figure out who they are and how they want to show it in the world. One thing I really wanted to address, though, is clothes are really important, but how they fit, and this is what you were kind of just touching on, is equally important. So this can be for anybody shopping at any budget. We're all different, and clothes are made in a few sizes. And so it's really important to work with a tailor that you love. And my clients, I'm tailoring underwear and pajamas. Now, you don't have to go to these extremes, but the way your clothes fit and how you wear them, it really does take on, it's how people perceive you, and it really does open doors when things fit you properly. And so, yeah, that's a really important one.
We're going to need your tailor information. A good tailor is really hard to find.
I have a good one.
And how do you keep your inspiration and your clients and all of that organized as well?
Well, we have a lot of systems. It seems like this creative business and we're all loosey-goosey, but the truth is hardworking people that have a big client list have a lot of systems and have a great team behind them. I have an amazing team behind me. Something I do for personal clients that they really love is we create lookbooks, and it's something that I think everybody can do at home as well. When something works, snap it in the mirror or lay it flat on the floor, and then you instantly have an outfit. And you realize really quickly what's missing from that outfit too. So it's something I suggest, especially for business travel.
Speaking of travel, I would love to get just like a quick little boom, rapid fire of what your travel tip is for organizing your looks. Do you take Polaroids of each outfit and then put it in the packing cube, especially like for someone like Chriselle? I'm sure your clients are doing the same thing Chriselle's doing, where you're going on like 3-week-long fashion week type of trips and you've got thousands of outfits to go through. How do you help keep your clients organized? And you guys are probably traveling for the holidays, so maybe we can pick up a few tips.
My answer is quite boring. It's just I go monochrome everything. It's like black, gray, and white. I could switch any top with any bottom, it'll match. And I don't like to travel with too much luggage. Like if I could just condense down to one. So I just love like basic monochrome, and I'll
That's a
have fun
good
with
tip.
I'll have fun with like maybe more shoes and accessories, but
Do you take pictures? Or you just throw it all in?
no, I just kind of, because for me the joy, and I think everyone has a different process, but for me the joy comes from my mood that morning, right? Like, how do I
Yeah.
want to feel this morning? So I'm more sporadic in that sense. I don't really like to plan things, and I know, some people are different. They need their outfits planned. But for me, at least I know I have pieces that I personally love, and it's kind of like piecing it together on the
Yeah.
day of. How about you? You travel a lot.
Oh, I like to put on every single outfit, take a picture of it, and then like put it. I mean, I'm crazy OCD.
You
so
and I are the
I
opposite.
know, we really are.
I don't know if we'll make good
But
travel
we're both
buddies.
Aries. I thought you would be OCD like
I'm
me.
an Aries too.
You are? Do you take pictures of everything head to toe?
Absolutely not.
Oh my God, it's just me.
We'll make.
This is why I'm
Yeah.
not a stylist.
And I'm also the worst. Like, I'm good at packing clients, of course, but to me, you're a minimalist in packing, and I'm not. My husband makes fun of me all the time. I really, really try. I give it a go, and I always have too much, but I have options.
It's true.
And
if
that's
you get that
safety.
call to like the last minute black tie event, she'll be ready.
Well, it's emotional, like she said. So, like, you wake up in a mood, and you're like, I hate everything except for you. And I'm glad I brought you in my case.
When I pack someone for a book tour or something, I have to bring like 2 outfits per day because they may not feel like wearing that day. So that's another thing. Like, you're doing fittings 2-3 weeks before, and then you get there, they're like, I don't really feel that today. And then you're like, no problem. We have this, and we have this, and we have this. So I'm the type of person that packs with like 5 trunks.
Woo! She gets the trophy.
Yeah.
She wins.
I have 2 outfits for me 2 times a day, 2 outfits for them. So I just got back from New York for a tour last week, and I had like 7 Ramona trunks. But I had everything. I had every emergency covered.
Better safe than sorry. What
Yeah.
about you? What's your pro tip on travel?
Personally, I'm a storyteller, so I overpack and I love it. And my husband is the one carrying 3 bags behind me, like to Costa Rica, and he's like, "What are you doing? You're wearing a bathing suit." But in the rainforest. But for my clients, it's another story, and I think there's a lot of security in already knowing how you're going to show up. So I don't practice what I preach. But when I'm styling my clients, I make sure that they have everything nailed down, and there's no room for error. And of course, there's a few wild cards and a few pieces like just for fun, but it's a well-oiled machine.
So for traveling home for the holidays, we're all going to show up with 5 trunks in our entire closet.
Everybody should just call you.
Yeah, call me and I'll take pictures of your outfits and you'll have the outfits planned. It really is dependent on your mood though. When you wake up, I mean, everything is right when you wake up that day. What do you think though is like a no-fail when you're like in the closet and you're having that moment where you're like, oh my God, and you're panicking and that you're already late to the dinner? Like, when in doubt, go with this. I want to hear all your answers.
Black.
Oh, good. Phew.
Everybody feels comfortable in black, even though we try to get them out of black. But like the worst case scenario, I always have that
Just
like
throw on a
perfect black dress or black leather jacket or black jeans or black slacks. But I like to be more creative with my clients, but I always do pack the emergency black.
Good advice.
Blazer and jeans.
That's what I was going to say, too.
Your outfit,
I was
Jacey.
running a little late today.
Yeah, your outfit. Blazer and jeans.
really
That's my
was.
go-to.
Yeah, me too. Guilty.
Also trying it in advance and feeling comfortable in your clothes, because the worst thing to do is show up in an event and be like adjusting and, oh, I don't know if my butt looks big or what, is this the right color? So really it's becoming intimate and becoming friendly with your clothes in advance and trying them on and knowing what works for your body before you wear it out.
I think that we can open up for questions because I'm at the bottom of my list. Do y'all have questions you'd like to ask these lovely ladies? Yes.
How do you guys embody confidence personally
For our clients or for ourselves?
for yourselves and dressing?
Well, for like my basic client, my normal client is a working woman, and sometimes it's really hard because it's all about how they wake up. It doesn't matter if you're like on top of the world. If you wake up and you're just like, you just really try to just talk it. It's like talking them off the ledge. It's like being a therapist. It's like, well, it's just, just there isn't like no formula to it. It's just you kind of got to go with it and be their whatever, their cheerleader, their mentor, their therapist, their friend. I think that confidence comes within, so the more successful they get, the better they feel about themselves. And as far as like for me, and getting up every day and taking care of women and men, I'm so grateful that at the end of the day, they feel so good about themselves. But I don't know what the actual formula is for that. It just kind of happens. I say, for all stylists, you just kind of, it's kind of like there isn't like an absolute formula.
There's no formula because we're all so unique, but I will say that the right outfit, you don't need to work out for. You don't need to get plastic surgery. You don't need to lose 15 pounds. You don't need to do any of that. When you put on an outfit that truly embodies who you are, you're going to be able to walk into the world and feel great exactly as you are. And I think that's the empowerment in styling.
That's really good.
For someone trying to develop their personal style, what are like essential items that they should have in the closet?
I feel like we get this question a lot. Like, my assistant, and she's beautiful, she's sitting over there, is in the audience, so I'm staring at her. But we just kind of did a little video about this, but I think that you need minimal things. Like you said, a blazer, a white t-shirt, great pair of black boots, simple heel. Start off small and minimal, nothing crazy, nothing fancy, and grow from there and build it. Put in color, see what you like on you, shapes, but jeans, t-shirt, blazer, jacket, right?
I think I agree. I think when you're figuring out your personal style, the personal style really doesn't have to do with necessarily fit, because a good fit is a good fit and you're going to feel good in it. So it's having those things, the basics that make you feel really good, and then it's the toppings that kind of add your personality, right? Whether it's color or accessories or shoes. And so I always say invest in the things that look and feel really good on you, the classics and the basics, the blazers, the jeans, the slacks, the trousers, the white tee, the white blouse. And then, you know, if you have a budget, like every season, maybe you explore different fun things to add to your wardrobe, and then you'll figure out like what makes you feel the best with those things.
I think we have so many options now. You can have style at any price point. So I always start, if I'm doing a new executive, with, I love Nordstrom's halogen black slacks. They're cheap, but they're the same ones that Derek Lam sells, and it's the same shape as Dolce, but they're timeless and they're a good start with. Then you can invest in a more expensive leather jacket or boots, but there's so many options now. Not everything has to be $10,000 an outfit. You know, there's many ways to, you could Google like your jacket and find 100 ways to get it from, you know, Amazon on up. So I'm not saying I'm encouraging fast fashion, but there's a lot of options, which when we started working, when styling, there weren't that many options. We didn't have as many different brands, and certainly not large sizes, which was always my, sometimes I would have to sew 2 dresses together. I mean, that was what would have to happen for someone to have a designer dress that was a size 16 or 18 or 20. But now there is more options, but there's fashion at any price now, so you could look great in your halogen pants and your theory shirt. It's like a puzzle, so you just kind of pick your pieces with how much money you have, and then you just put in the puzzle, and then you have it, or at least for my client.
And I would say something really important is to invest in quality, not quantity. It's better to have a small capsule wardrobe of pieces that you love and you feel so comfortable in, and wear them on repeat. It also creates an identity. Fast fashion and celebrities do have to wear something once on the red carpet because that's part of selling and fashion. But if you're trying to establish an identity and buying a few pieces, it's really investing in quality pieces and the best you can afford and the best. Even if something's expensive, it doesn't necessarily mean it's high quality. So it's really paying attention to how something's made and how it feels on your body.
Speaking of budget, where would you suggest kind of investing that first like piece? Like a bag or a blazer or a shoe?
I don't know, damsel in Dior over there. You know, when I started my business, I was on a secretary budget. I was making less. In a full year, I made what I make now with one client in a couple days. And so I actually was shopping at the Colleagues thrift shop in Santa Monica, and I was buying vintage pieces and trying to mirror my clients and the brands they were wearing. And when I had 2 nickels to rub together in my business, I started investing in shoes and bags because I could wear a full outfit from Zara, but I had on, Chanel ballet flats or whatever it was. And now that collection's tremendous. I'm so lucky. And I invest in key pieces like blazers and pieces that I think have structure are great investments.
And I think those things never go out of style.
Exactly.
So like if I look at my wardrobe now, because I get a lot coming in, I also have to consistently purge, and I like to keep it minimal or somewhat minimal. And so the things that I always keep year after year is always the same things, which is probably the things that you should be investing into. Yeah.
I'll go with my mother's advice. She always said, pay for your feet. So I always pay for my
Thanks,
feet.
Mom. That's a good one. They'll carry you places.
And shoes and bags, it doesn't matter what size you are. You can change your size, but you always have great shoes in a bag. They go on forever. So you can be any place in your life, and the shoes in the bag will still be there.
Hey, I'm Nikki. So I am an actress and a filmmaker, and my challenge is I feel like how I want to feel is comfortable, but then I have to go on the red carpet, and so I'm how do I figure out my style when I've got to go be something in the world, but I just want to wear sweats.
That's such a good question.
So good.
That's how I feel.
There's a lot of designer fancy tennis shoes now, and that's a lot of what my clients are doing is wearing like a great, there's a tennis shoe in every color, size, shape, beaded, not beaded. So a lot of my clients are wearing flats on the red carpet.
You're going to probably hate my answer, but fashion's not comfortable. It just really is not. And
It's not.
it's not, and we all have to, suck it up for the game sometimes. And I have clients too, and they're like, I just want to be comfortable. I'm like, but you're not gonna be, because they want you in this for this certain role or that, and this, it's just not possible. But if it is possible, I make it happen with fabrics that, like, I do a lot of rock guys too, drummers, musicians that are jumping up and down. So I'm always getting the stretchiest fabric or adding stretch. And that's something you can do too in blazers. Like if you have a really good tailor, I put stretch in the armpits, get lighter fabrics, things like that to where it's more comfortable, but you're not gonna, it's not gonna be the best always. That makes sense.
If it makes you feel any better, I packed a sweatshirt in my car to throw on my drive home after this. Guilty. Did somebody, yes, you had another question?
I love that you started talking about fabrics, because my question is in regard to, over the course of your career, what fabrics have you learned are always flattering on somebody?
I'll speak to that. I find natural fabrics to be the most flattering. Silks, cottons, wools. I find they fit the body really well. They're really breathable, so even in your most uncomfortable meeting or whatever it is, you look great.
I like stretch. I just feel, it just seems to, I guess, because my people are working and going on the red carpet, but they're making the choices. No designer's telling them what to wear. Like they get to, they get to decide what they want. And if I do a photo shoot with one of my clients and the brand is saying, wear this, and she's like, I don't want to wear this. I'm doing this for you. You're not doing this for me. It's a different. So my job's a little different in that my clients have a say in what they want to wear on the red carpet, or because they're paying for it and they have their own kind of brand about it. But so it's a little different. It's a little different kind of photo shooting where they're like, we want her to wear this. I'm like, well, she's not going to wear that today. So I have like a different side to that part of it. But it just depends if you're paying or someone else is paying, or if they have a budget or they don't have a budget. But I don't know if that made sense.
For me, my go-to is anything that kind of looks like leather, faux leather. I think it's an instant way, like, I'm not wearing any right now, but usually I have a pair of jeans and like a cool leather top, or vice versa, like a cotton shirt and faux leather pants, because for me that instantly makes a statement. It looks strong. Sometimes you can find them with stretch, so they can be comfortable. So that's kind of my go-to fabric of choice.
Adds to cart, yes.
Is this working? Yeah, it is. Differs for each of you, but I was wondering, what is the range of services that you provide, and how do you charge?
That's a good question.
Okay, I'll start. I provide a lot of services, and I do personal styling to celebrity styling to musicians to like clothes on tour to everything, movies, whatever it is. And I feel like we could all probably do that. That's sitting on this couch. When it comes to price point, I think it depends on what the job is and what you're doing and what the person can afford and the budget would be. Now, everybody can afford the same thing, and that's okay. Doesn't mean you don't get the same treatment, right? What was the third part? Was that it? Okay, good.
I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to plug South Coast Plaza and their styling program that they offer to everyone. They have 40 stylists that you guys can tap into. It's like you just teed me up.
That's why I'm here.
They have over 40 stylists in the program who can really help create a personal shopping experience for all of us. So we can all have our own personal stylists when we go to South Coast Plaza. Anyway, I know there's more questions. We have a little bit of time left. Yes.
Flourished. And I want to know how you guys are using social media to champion your personal brand and your business. And then the other question is, sustainable fashion and ethically made materials are such a buzzword these days. How are you incorporating that into your business and then your own personal wardrobe?
I'll go. I am a veteran of not having social media in my life. That's my age. I do it and I hate it. My assistant helps me out a lot, and it's important. It is. It's, the times have changed. It's how you market yourself. It's how people meet you and get your personality. And I try to do it as much as I can, but there's sides to it that I find also unfortunate, the comparison effect, as I say. As sustainable things, yes, I agree with you. I think that there is a problem in fashion that, what's the saying? Like, it takes 5 gallons of water to make 1 pair of blue jeans. There's so many things. There's so much waste. And I do want to use more sustainable fabrics and designers, and I do look it up. But like I said, the people that you're dressing and the sizes is not afforded to fit everybody. So until it spreads wider and stronger, it's kind of impossible for us to use 100% sustainable at this time. So.
Chriselle, I feel like you're the queen of social media and sharing your personal style and branding with social.
I mean, for me, I started on digital. Same with you, Jacey. So this is kind of our home ground, I guess you can say. And I don't know really life outside of digital media because I built my entire business off of that. So I could only tell you how impactful it could be if you are consistent with it, but it does take a lot of work, right? Like, it is a full-time job. So a stylist who has to do her full-time job, adding another component to her business is a lot, right? Because that's what Jacey and I do full-time, right? And so you just have to think what's important to you as far as, is it gonna be something that you wanna build a following for, or is it because you want to have it as a resume to get hired for a certain job? Because that is what people look at. Like, gone are the business cards nowadays, I think. Now it's more like, oh, this is my Instagram handle. Check out my work, right? So you kind of have to figure out what the purpose is for you to be on digital. Because it could also be very low lift. It doesn't have to be something that you update every single day. It could just be a general portfolio that you update your best work on.
See, I'm older and old. I have social media and I love it, but I I wish I could do more of it, and I always say to my assistant, we need to link this, we need to do this, we need to do that, but I never have time. But I do social media. I post what I can post because a lot of my clients aren't postable, but I do enjoy social media. I look at everybody's social media, and I wish my brand could be more social media, but really that's not. I'm really an old school stylist, so I admire how, I don't know how you guys do it. Like, I try, but I can't look at myself like that all day long.
I can't either with me. I mean,
I so admire it, but I just.
But I also think you could use it for your own benefit as well. Like if you're trying to figure out your own style, like you could make it into your personal mood board. Like I do that a lot with my collections, like that no one else can see. It's like, oh, I like this mood. Like maybe this is the mood that I'm channeling this season. So it could be just personal too. It doesn't have to be for the rest of the world.
I was just going to ask you that if you ever like save outfit inspiration into a folder.
All the time.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
that too.
all
I
the
was going to
time.
say, I use it, the thing that I do love about Instagram and such is like the save button, because I'll look at runway shows or even like the smallest brand and I want to remember it. So I always like save it, and then when I start a job, I'll go through all the saved photos and I'll be like, oh yeah, that brand, I've never pulled from them, or like I want to research that. So it is good. There's a lot of beneficial parts to it. Me personally, I just don't know. I need a class on it. You know, like maybe you could help me out.
We could hang out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love skinny jeans, but they're not cool. So how do you balance trends with what you like?
Yeah, what jeans are we supposed to be wearing now? Does anybody know? Do you guys know? Please. She said she loves skinny jeans.
Oh, okay.
But she's like, and I do too, obviously, because I'm wearing them, but we're not supposed to be wearing them right now because they're not cool. So how do you balance trends with what you want to wear? And what jeans are we supposed to be wearing?
I like to argue that, yes, all the Gen Z TikTokers, I personally love my baggy wide leg jeans, but like if you look at the runway and the collections they're all over the place. Like there's not one designer that's always doing the same thing. So you can't, I think it's just that people on TikTok and this generation is much louder. But like if you look at Saint Laurent, for example, it's all skinny pants, right? And so who is saying that they're uncool, right?
And denim's a perfect place to take a risk.
Your little sister?
Yeah, my kids are telling me that they're uncool. So, but I don't know. I like Saint Laurent. They're showing all skinny pants.
Right.
Yeah, I also like, I'm not a big believer in trend chasing.
Yeah.
You know, like there are things that you should like, things that fit you, and you wear it in your own trend and make it your own. And who cares what anybody else thinks
And
about
that's
it?
part of developing the personal brand that we were
Yeah,
just talking about.
like you have to feel good in it. And if you feel good and confident in it, then wear it. It's
And
okay if Vogue doesn't think, you know, skinny jeans are in.
And you have to wear what's comfortable for your age. You don't want to look ridiculously. But I mean, you could do anything nowadays. But I always say be age appropriate in the best way that you can be.
And denim is the perfect place to take a risk. So if you are looking to try something new in your wardrobe, or you have seen something cool that somebody fabulous is wearing on Instagram, it's a really affordable place to play. And it's the easiest place or item, I should say, in your wardrobe to change each season because it's more affordable. So have fun with it and try other styles and sell them if they don't work.
I think we have time for one more quick question. Yes.
At this stage, would you say maybe social media in general is where the trends are truly coming from?
True trends. Who's truly setting them?
I think it's the people now, from the fashion houses, from the creative directors, from these big brands. But I think social media has really leveled the playing field, and now it's the people. I think what social media has done is democratized trends, it's democratized opportunities, and so I think a lot of brands now that I personally work with, they look at what people on social are wearing. So I don't think it's one or the other, really. I think it's kind of a big circle now.
Yeah, because the streetwear trend, which is not a trend because it's been around forever, it's just we see more of it now on the social platforms. You can actually see what people are wearing, and everyday people are photographing, you know, like taking photos of things that they love and posting it. And I agree with you. I think it's from the people. I think everybody can set their own trend and do what they want and post about it, and you be you.
Whether it's setting old trends or helping develop your own personal brand and style, I hope you guys really enjoyed hearing more from these lovely stylists today. And thank you so much for joining our panel. And thank you to South Coast Plaza. Just a friendly reminder, you guys take advantage of their stylists. I know I'm going to, who can help you develop your own personal brand. Have a good day.
Thank you.